think these pics are so cool. Hello, it's me again. I'm gonna do a 6-month review of all the books that I've been reading. I did my first book video like in September, and I did quite a bit from September up until now, and I thought I will do the books or share the books that I'm reading every 6 months, because I'm going through books like anything. The way you change underwear is the way I'm reading my books. So I thought I'd share it with you because I've been sharing a lot of what I'm reading on my social media, especially Instagram stories. So make sure to follow me on Instagram if books is one of the things that you thoroughly enjoy. I also have a highlights where you can check the books that I've read as well, or what books I'm currently reading. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I mentioned this book in my last video that I was reading this, and I thought I'd just tell you what I thought of it because I thought it was an awesome book. It was written in the 1800s. I love Lydia. She is just a firecracker of a person because she's basically the black sheep of the family. And in the 1900s, the women were sort of groomed to know how to sew, know how to be a good wife, to know cook and clean, that type of thing. But she didn't want that for herself. She wanted to be out there, explore, ride horses, know how to shoot a gun. That was her vibe. And she does fall in love with this older guy who's actually courting, is that the word? Oh, I'm watching too much Bridgerton. Courting with her older sister, but she's not kind of interested-ish. And then he gets stationed somewhere else, and she kind of follows him. But it was an interesting take on her journey as she follows him and what she learns about herself. I didn't enjoy the ending though. I think the ending was a bit, it just went down from the hype that it was. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think Lydia is my favorite person because I just want to be like her. Okay, so I got a Gail Foreman book. If you don't know who she is, she wrote If I Stay, and I loved the book. I also enjoyed the movie, and I read a book, Leave Me, which was very interesting. So it is based on a woman married, I think her name is Meredith, and she is just takes care of everyone and everything. She's a workaholic. She has twins. She looks after them, obviously, duh. And her husband, at some point in her life, she then experienced a heart attack, and she's in the hospital for a few days. And while she's even in the hospital, she's scheduling who needs to take care of the kids, who needs to do this, who needs to do that. So overall, she's just not, even with this life-changing thing, she still is managing everyone. So she comes home, and her husband still expects her to do everything. Like, she still needs to be her normal self even after she had this heart attack. So what she does, she just packs her bag and she leaves. And I was just like, go girl, you do you. And even though in the meantime she's also dealing with something that she hasn't dealt with, that the fact that she is adopted, she doesn't know who she is, she doesn't know who the core Meredith is. And so she then moves to the town that she thinks she originally is from, and she meets people, and she kind of falls in love with the doctor because she has to go for checkups because of her heart condition. She kind of just discovers herself. She obviously still thinks about her kids, obviously, and her husband, and it was just an interesting journey of her just trying to find the true her. I enjoyed it. I really loved this book. Also talks a lot about her friendship with one of her friends, which was also interesting. And I think it was just a book about, friendship, sorrow, heartache, just all of that combined in this little book. Ooh, was this a goodie of a book? Because let me tell you, this book, The Sun Is Also a Star, by Nicola Yon, who also wrote Everything. I did not read the book, I only watched the movie. But when I saw this, I was just like, yes. So it's based on Natasha and Daniel. They are from two different ethnic groups. First of all, they come from two different cultural backgrounds, and they just fall in love. They meet each other, fall in love, but the circumstances don't allow them to be together, and that's where the universe comes in. So the universe is also part of the book. What I also really loved about Nicola was that the fact that she spoke about the people that were, or the characters that were in the book as well, because at the end of the book, I can't really give you much, I wasn't going to spoil the book for you, but at the end of the book, it sort of says that they met at the wrong time. Like, you know, when things in life happen, you know that the timing is just off. And that's the thing, the timing was just off for them to be together. But at the end, the end was when like the universe was like, this is actually the perfect time when you should be together, when you should have met, you know. And yeah, I just felt giddy in love with the two of them. They were just so different, but they were still such dynamic characters, and I just loved it. I loved Natasha and Daniel's journey in the short amount of time that they knew each other, and just based on these circumstances and the universe saying, yeah, you met, but this is not the right time for the two of you to be together. So very fascinating. So one of the books I read is The Boy on Top of the Mountain. If you read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, same author, loved this book. It was a quick read for me because it's a children's book, but I found it fascinating because this boy who is orphan and his aunt works for Hitler, she takes him in, and Hitler then pulls him under his wing, sort of trains him to think the way he thinks, and obviously to aid Jews, etc. It was a powerful yet chilling book in the same time, because we all know what happened when Hitler was in power. And it was overall sad, but I think the ending just made it that much more enjoyable, because his original friend before he sort of lived with Hitler was a Jew. And I think what was great throughout the book was the relationship of the two of them. It does sort of fade away because he becomes more like Hitler towards the end, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed that the two of them became friends again. I bought this book solely on the title, and it's called My Life is a Hashtag. This is more of a teenager book, but I think it's also relevant for us, my generation, my age, 28, 29, because I actually somewhat gone through something like this, and it's on a girl whose life is falling apart. Her parents are getting divorced, her father starts a whole new family, and she's also, she's in this like new way of life. She's cross, she's upset, she starts to deal with her friends as well, and one of the friends in the circle, she just thinks there's something wrong with MC, and she doesn't want to be friends with MC anymore. And so this girl then has a party, and she doesn't invite MC at all, and MC writes in the background, she kind of writes like this blog post. It's almost like a Tumblr type thing. I think it is Tumblr. She wrote things about all of her friends, and particularly this girl, and she by accident presses send, and everything goes into turmoil. Everything just blows up. Everyone's upset with MC, and it becomes very complicated. What I think I appreciated of, who's this author, Gabriella Williams, is that it wasn't just like, oh, this happened, this spiraled out of control. I enjoyed the fact that she said they ended up, even though once the dust had settled, they were two young adults, and they spoke about it, they communicated about it, and they dealt with it, and they ended up being friends again. But I just think that social media purposes, I think this is so, I would say this is a must read for teenagers, because the things that we're finding on social media, the bullying, I think this book is very interesting, and I appreciate this woman writing this book. I originally thought that this book was a like crime fiction kind of book. It sort of is, but sort of not, and it's called One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I think that's how you say his name. I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. I was like, I saw the read, I was like, ooh, blood, crime, not my vibe, because I like those genres. But overall, I really plot twist, like major plot twist. I actually watched someone's book blog or book video, and she read this book and she said, oh no, she knew who the killer was, and I was just like, I did not know who the killer was. So basically it's these 5 people, these 5 young high schoolers. They end up being in detention, but only 4 of them come out alive, so one of them dies. And obviously they start pinpointing, they start scrutinizing each one of them, like who could have done it, because it was only the 5 of them that were in this room. But Simon, the guy who dies, he actually has like this whole like web page where he exposes people's secrets, and they all four of them had secrets that they did not want to come out, so they were all suspects. And throughout the book I was like, oh, it was that one, oh, it was that one, oh, it was this one, and I did not expect this plot twist whatsoever. It just kept on a journey. It made my mind think and go into like different directions, and I found this book to be very gripping. I know she's got other books as well, so I'm definitely on the lookout for her other books that she has, and thoroughly enjoyed this book because bam, I was not expecting that plot twist. City of Girls. Woo! Woo! What a reader! What a reader! I love this book. This book was first of all, it was like a 500-page book, and I was just like, who bought this for Christmas for me? Because she wasn't sure what to buy me, and I was like, just give me this book, I want this book. So Vivian is just, I love Vivian. So the book is actually written as like a letter to Angela, and I was like, who the hell is Angela? Because Angela is throughout the book, she's named, and I was just like, who the hell is Angela? Like, I just wanted to know who Angela was. But Vivian is just, I loved Vivian and Cecilia's like friendship, and it was written, first of all, it's written like a letter to Angela, and then she talks about her entire life, like it's in the 1940s, they're in Hollywood, she lives with her aunt in New York City, and they're in theater, and Cecilia's a showgirl, so the two of them become friends, and just her life and the way that they party and meet guys and just have sex and just go wild. Then something happens. I'm not gonna tell you what happens. And this guy, her brother comes and fetch her, and the guy in the car says something that sits with her out her life. And I think that was when I was like, what you say to people is so important, because something so cynical or something that's so that you might be angry in that moment and you say something so horrible, but it can sit with someone for a long time because it can go throughout their life and can change their life. That made me think like, I always need to be careful to what I say to people, because it went worse throughout, you know, her adulthood. I'm not gonna go on, I don't want to give too much away of the book, but I just think it is such a wonderful life of Vivian, first of all. And I also want to commend Elizabeth for the fact that you can love someone, truly love someone, without having to have a union with them. You don't have to be married to them, you don't have to have intimacy with them. You can just genuinely and purely love someone without having those other options. One of my best books I've read for this year, and overall just in general, a great book. I just finished this book like yesterday. This is Breathless by Jennifer Nivon. She wrote All the Bright Places. I love that book. I read that book about 6 years ago, and it just came out on Netflix last year or the year before, I'm not quite sure. And I was like, oh, she came out with a new book. I don't know what to say about this book. I'm kind of on the borderline of, I kind of like it but don't kind of like it. I feel like the storyline has been done to death already, and what I mean by that is that her parents are going through like a divorce-ish kind of, and so she and her mother, she being Claudine, they go to a family island, but before she goes, she kind of like is in love with this boy, and then she goes to this family island, she finds love on this island, and I was just like, ugh, the storyline has been done by to death. However, was there some steamy, raunchy intimacy happening, and I was just telling Courtney, I am here for those scenes. I don't know, it just makes me all like giddy inside. So I love that aspect of it, but like I said, the storyline was just very predictable. Kind of on the fence of this book, to be honest. Yeah, there was nothing that just stood out that said, oh, this book is so different. Oh, they had a different spin on a storyline that's been done for so many years. It just felt, it just felt very flat to me. So I don't know, you can get the book, don't have to get the book, but for me I was like 50-50. I just finished all the fiction, so I'm gonna go on to the non-fiction books that I've read, and I read Educated by Tara Westover. I've heard so many wonderful things about this biography of her. Holy crap, was there, first of all, there was a lot happening. I did not know there were hormones in the world. I did I'll even know about the Illuminati and stuff like that. But I think it's very, I find that I appreciated a lot of what they had to say, because when you are kind of like uneducated, this is how you view the world, and when you are in an educated position, this is how you view the world. And so, you know, she speaks of what it was like being in an uneducated world, where her parents, or her father more importantly, he believed that the school was designed to brainwash kids, and they found it sort of okay that her brother Sean like abused her. It was like totally fine. And she was like, she knew this was wrong. And I can't really explain the book too much, but it is very shocking, first and foremost, but also I think really powerful when you become an educated person and you start realizing, being from an uneducated world to being in an educated environment, how you view things differently. I just felt sorry for her when her brother Sean was just like abusing her, but not only her, like probably other women as well, like the relationships in his life. It just made me so sad. And I think what made it much more sadder was the fact that her parents never took a side when she started realizing, when she started going to college, started realizing what her brother was actually doing, and that it was completely wrong and off, that they just never took a side. It was just really sad. I did Google her afterwards, and I think her parents came out with a book. I don't know if I'm gonna buy or read the book to hear their version of the story, but to take in and to just like not be angry at her parents at the same time. So well done to Taylor Westover for writing this book. The next book is a financial book, and it's called Watch Your Move by Nicolette. And she's a South African. She's got a YouTube channel called Financial Bunny, and I watch her YouTube videos. I haven't watched it of late, but when she came out with the book, I was like, yes. The fact that I've been watching her videos, follow her on social media, I was like, girl, I need that book. And it's in a South African context, because I know a lot of us who are in finance, not in finance, but are learning about finance, we've all read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's an American style. It's written in an American context. South African, I know there's a lot of other books as well, like Manage Your Money Like a Fucking Grown Up. I speak about that book. That is my financial Bible, and I actually gifted it to a friend this past Christmas. And you can see I've got like sticky notes, but what I love, there's no graphs or pictures like Manage Your Money Like a Fucking Grown Up, but I love this book because there was a lot of takeaways. First of all, I was talking about your credit score, like holy crap, there was a massive chapter on property. I did not know that so much into purchasing property contains such a lot, and people don't speak about it. She also speaks about your money personalities and how we're so quick to judge people on how they spend their money. And this is something that I was like, ooh, sometimes I do that, because I can validate why I want to spend 1,000 rand a night on travel versus spending 1,000 rand on skincare or on like my hair and makeup, and someone else might value that. I was just like, I need to change my perspective on that. There was a lot of aha moments in this book, and I highly recommend everyone, like every South African who is trying to understand finance, to read this, because each chapter was, there is graphs and stuff like you can see in this one, but each chapter was based on her personal story. Like she speaks about her ego was buying a Ferrari. So she talks about that, but then she speaks about the experience and what happened, and then she tells you how to do this, how to do that, what are the steps you need to take, this is what you need to think of, etc, etc. And so this is why I think you should get this book if you are wanting to start your financial journey and just want to understand finance in general. I'm not a self-help kind of girl. I sometimes think that self-help books are a little tacky. However, I've changed my mind. This book, You Are a Badass. Woo! Love this book. First and foremost, to the point. This is by Jean Sincero. There's no fluff. It was just simple, telling you what you need to hear, and telling you that you are a badass, why you deserve to be on this earth, how you should be hustling for more money, how to stay motivated, why you should meditate. Just woo! This is the book. I think this book should be read in the beginning of each year to just motivate you and to remind yourself that you're an awesome person. First of all, you're a badass kind of person. And loved it. Love this book. Definitely a book I think everyone should have on hand. I'm sure you heard of this book, The 5 a.m. Club, and I saw it everywhere. Everyone was reading it, everyone was talking about this book, and I was just like, should I be reading this book? Hell to the yes, you should. You can see all my little sticky notes over here. It's more of a business book, more so than like a self-help book, but it really does change your mind. You'll see a lot on like social media, people talk about the 5 a.m. club, and it's because he suggests that you start your day off at 5 a.m. I tried it once I was done with the book. I altered it a little bit. I now wake up at almost 5 because I don't do the exercise part of it. I just felt like it was almost like, oh, he was telling me to exercise, and then I was doing the exercise and I was like, I don't feel good about myself, so I wake up at almost 5 rather than 5 o'clock. But the book does say that you can sort of amend it based on your lifestyle. But this book didn't change my life, it just changed my perspective on life. It just changed my mindset on the way that I view productivity, what my time should be spent on. I should work more on things that I enjoy rather than things that just makes me not feel great. He writes this book in a context of someone who is a manager, or is someone who's like in an executive position. I just need to point that out because he speaks about, oh, you can outsource this. It's not easy for someone like me to just outsource stuff. I'm not my own boss. I don't have the additional income to do that. And second of all, he speaks about like having massages, and I'm just like, who the hell has massages like every single day? I truly love this book. I think everyone should read this book. It didn't change my life, it just changed my mindset on the way that I am living my life, if that makes sense. This is the book that I'm currently reading, and it's called Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth, I think it's Keen. I suck at names, honestly. So this is the book I'm currently reading. I'm only on page 30, so I can't exactly give you my review just yet, but I thought I'd share what I'm currently reading, and then I thought I'd share with you what is in my book collection. I'm so excited about the situation. Okay, so the book I picked up over the weekend is Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, and if you don't know who she is, she has her own production company, Shondaland, was in association with Bridgerton. Love Bridgerton. And so I was like, yes, I'm definitely picking up her biography, so I'm very thrilled to be getting into this at some point in the next month. The next book is Where the Crawdads Sing. Everyone's speaking about this book, and then my colleague, she said she just finished this book and it's absolutely amazing. I should definitely read it. I should put it on my list. And I was just like, okay, if she's telling me to do it and everyone else is talking wonderful things about this book, then I'm most definitely going to add this to my collection. So that's what I did. It kind of falls under crime fiction, and I was just like, crime fiction is not for me. I don't do crime fiction, but I'm gonna give it a go. Maybe there are some crime fiction books that are for me, and I should just delve into that genre for 2021. Very excited to start reading this. The next book I got was Heads of the Colored People, and I thought I need to start reading more about black culture. I don't know if there are books written by South African authors. That's something I need to research. But this says Heads of Colored People interrogates our supposedly post-racial era to wicked and devastating effect, exposing the violence that threatens black Americans no matter their apparent success. So I think or the author Nafessa, she interviews a few different people in the black community, and I think she just speaks about her experience. I'm not too sure that's what I'm sort of getting from the back of the book, but yeah, I thought this would be an interesting read for this month. And then of course I had to pick up Little Flies Everywhere. I did not watch the movie, or I think it's a series on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet. I thought let me read the book, because I feel like you should read the book first before you watch a movie or a series of something. Apparently the book is amazing, but the series is not, so I'll have to see how that goes. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read, am reading, still going to read. And let me know what books you're currently reading, what books you think I should be reading, what genres I should go into. Yeah, let's start talking more about interesting books and authors. I will see you guys in my next book video, maybe in the next 6 months again. Let's circle back, let's do this every 6 months, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.